Slaki. Hey, Shalom, Shalom. This is Mafan Yasha'Allah Badaparium. And this is a mob, son of Israel, son of Ephraim. Before we get started, I'd like to give all praises and honors to my power, Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shah, Bahashim, Rakakadash. Shalom to Maki Magwa for the buying that tuned into this video. Let's peace to the brothers, sisters, and children that tuned into this video. Bear with me, I got a little stuffy nose from no, I got a little cold from work, but we gonna keep pushing, and we gonna really talk about obviously like studying and keeping this word dear and near to you, and why it's important to be stayed on this word and obviously keep it near and dear with you. So we start the book of Proverbs chapter 15, 26, 28, and it reads, "The heart of the righteous studieth the answer, but the mouth of the wicked poureth out evil things." So when you study these words, study the word in the Bible, you understand what's going on. You can answer correctly, right? You can answer in spirit and truth when you actually read, right? The book is in the book of Matthews. It says, "Blessed is he that readeth," right? You're blessed because you can read and you can break it down and answer the correct answer. Be righteous and answer righteously, right? And not pour out evil things. Second Timothy chapter 2 verse 15. Study to show yourself thyself approved unto the power, a workman that needeth not to be ashamed, rightly dividing the word of truth. Again, double down on the fact, studying. But this time you study to show yourself approved to the power of Yahweh Yahushua, because that's what's really important here, right? You're not doing it for other people. Now, when you do this, when you do study and you do read this book, it helps you, it sets you free, because one, you're not going to be, lost and getting sidetracked, and I will touch on that precept later. But ultimately, you're making your call on elect sure, right? You're giving yourself a fighting chance to, out of desire be the will of the Lord of Ha'adawan for you to be saved, right? The book of Joshua, chapter 1, verse 8. "This book of the law shall not depart out of thy mouth, but thou shalt meditate therein day and night, that thou mayest observe to do according to all that is written therein. For then thou shalt make thy way prosperous, and then shalt have good success." So meditating this word, where either goes into prayer, that goes into reading, that goes into studying notes, that even goes by day-to-day life. When you're going around and you see something and you like, and you think about it, you like, what? That's such a precept. I get it, because you see it and I get it. That's what that precept's talking about, right? Or you just think about it throughout the day. You're meditating. It's on your word. It's like it's not your word. It's on your mind. The book of law should not depart out thy mouth. This, you shouldn't lose the book of law. You shouldn't lose the honestly, you shouldn't lose the book of law. You shouldn't just forget it. It shouldn't go nowhere. You should hold it near and dear with you, just like you hold your hobbies and whatever you do for work near and dear. You should hold this much more tighter. It's like the precept says, "We revered our fathers, so why not revere the Father of all spirits and live?" Right. So hold that tight too, just like you would hold anything else tight to you. The book of Psalms, chapter 17, verse 8. "Keep me as the apple of thy eye. Hide me under the shadow of thy wings." Again, doubling down like how you should view this word, how you shouldn't take it lightly and push it off and think it's not important. That's just is not the case, and if you think that way, it's a dangerous way to be thinking, because ultimately you're just setting yourself up for destruction. The book of Psalms, chapter 119, verse 11. "Thy word have I hid in my heart, that I may not sin against thee." You're hiding these words in your heart. You're keeping it stored in your inward parts. So like you this is something that you meditate on, like we brought out earlier. You meditate on day and night. You're thinking on it day and night, all the time. It's always on your mind. That's what happens when you keep this word in your heart. It's like and it's also a reminder for when you're going about your day to day. Now, it's important to understand. Now we're going to read here real quick. Proverbs 3 and 13. "Happy is the man that findeth wisdom, and the man that gets understanding," right? "For merchandise of it is better than merchandise of silver, and a gain thereof of fine gold." She is more precious than rubies, and all things that thou canst desire cannot be compared unto her. Now, this is really the point right here, but I also wanted to touch on this. A man that finds wisdom, and you're going to see it in their faces. Their countenance will change. You will lighten up. It's a beautiful thing to have this understanding. And that's why I touched on these next two precepts. Because you see what it's worth. Nothing that you could desire could touch it, right? So you got to keep it close to you. And when people say, yeah, cool, yeah, yeah. And like, if you should understand it off rip, but if you don't, here's why. The book, Colossians chapter 2, verse 7, rooted and built up in him, established in faith, as we've been taught, abounding therein with thanksgiving. When you be rooted and built up in this word, and you're built up and established on faith, you're by the waters, your roots run deep, you're rooted on this rock, you're going to be secure, right? And the precept says, this is the stability of our times. The word is the stability of our times. It's going to keep you still, secure, and good, right? Ephesians 4, verse 14. That we henceforth no more be children tossed to and fro, and carried about with every wind of doctrine by the sleight of men and cunning craftiness, whereby they lie way to deceive. So this is why it's important. So you're not going to be tossed to and fro. Because if someone that returns back into the world, they're going to start. They obviously just got tossed to and fro. They didn't keep it close enough to them. And the people that never had it to begin with, they be tossed to and fro. That's why they believe that. And they try to say that they're Egyptians, or they try to say they're Buddhism or whatever else that they believe in. So it's because they don't have that word, and they're not built on the on truth and spirit of Yahweh Yahushai. They get caught by these people that are waiting to deceive, and they're being tossed to and fro, and that's not what we want, right? But he says, and that's also not what's going to happen to you if you have this word. The book of John, chapter 8, verse 32. Ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall set you free. The truth will set you free from all the other dislikes and the other beliefs, all the, we just read about being tossed to and fro. You'll be freed from that because you're gonna see what's going on. You can understand. You're gonna see why certain stuff happened. You understand why things in the past had to happen, right? It really just it frees you. So if when you get this word, you got to keep it near and dear on you and meditate on it and study. Prove yourself to Yahweh Shai, right? If if people have questions and you study it, pour it out, pour it onto the other people, on your neighbors. When I say your neighbors, other Israelites, right? Actually, it says we're called to be prophets into the world. I mean, there's 3 types of words, but like we're supposed to be prophets. We're supposed to tell everybody about what's going on. But we are really here for the elect. Our Israelites, the 1/3 of the Israelites, right? But you pour it out. You tell the people what's going on, because a prophet would be prophesying. But it's a little quick here. I don't want this out. This lesson was edifying and enlightening to you. You gotta give all praise and honor to my power Yahweh, Bahashim Yahweh Shabbat Shem Rakakadash. Shalom to Malachi Magwa for the mind that's tuned to this video. Let's preach to the brothers, sisters, and children that's tuned to this video. Shalom. Shalom. Shalom.